Hello everyone, Tharries here. Welcome back to another Doctor Who news update video. This time, we have an interesting little hint towards RTD2 that could suggest some more returning characters. But before we get into it, if you could do me a teeny tiny little favour and click that subscribe button, I'd be ever so grateful. At the time I'm recording this, we're just about to hit 12,000. I think we might have hit it by the time you see this. But even if we have, our next stop is 13,000. Let's keep the train rolling. Also, go follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. That would be greatly appreciated, as I do regular updates over there. But with that said, let's get into the video. So in case you aren't aware, there's a new BBC Sounds spin-off Doctor Who audio series called Doctor Who Redacted that follows the misadventures of a group of friends running a conspiracy podcast about the Doctor's adventures. And along the way they run into several returning characters from the show's past that try and assist them in getting people to remember the Doctor. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Tharries, you said this was about RTD2. How does this factor into RTD2 in any way? Well, dear viewer, I will get into that in just a second. You see, when a new showrunner takes over and they're writing stories in their, new era, it's kind of custom for them to be able to use the whole Doctor Who toy box. As in, whatever they want from the show's past or present, or even future, I guess, because it's Doctor Who, they can use at the time in which they are the current custodian. And they also therefore have the right to, I suppose, enact certain restrictions upon spin-off media, specifically limiting the use of characters that they may want to use in the future. And such an event has happened with Doctor Who Redacted and Russell T Davies. Most specifically, there's an article with Juno Dawson, one of the creatives behind Doctor Who Redacted, in which she gets asked this question: did you have a wish list of characters? To which she responds, now there's a question. We did have a big long list. I will say, Russell, there were some characters we weren't allowed to use. That's all I will say, and maybe Russell has reasons for that. This is all I'm going to say. Actually, I don't even know that. Even I don't know the answer to that. We were just told no in some cases. So this is very interesting for a couple of obvious reasons. Why would Russell T Davies limit the use of past characters in an audio spin-off series if he wasn't at least planning on using some of them? Now, we of course have the David Tennant rumours, but kind of lumped in alongside that is Catherine Tate returning alongside David Tennant, which has been a long-standing rumour ever since, I don't know, last few months anyway. It's been a blur. But if it is the case that RTD is putting certain restrictions on characters, is it not therefore possible that that makes the return of the likes of Martha Jones, played by Freema Agyeman, or Catherine Tate, played by Donna Noble, more likely, as far as I'm aware, they're not in this series? And of course we know that next year will be the 60th anniversary celebrations, so it seems only fitting for RTD to be bringing back some of his legacy characters, but it could also be classic Who characters. The reason I'm focusing specifically on RTD era characters though is not only because of the Tennant rumours, but also because if you listen to Redacted, which I've listened to the first 2 episodes of, there's a specific effort to make references to events that occur in the Russell era and characters that exist within that period of the show. Rani Chandra from Sarah Jane Adventures is a main player in Redacted, and the likes of the adipose pills and the rhinos taking over a hospital that disappears are referenced events in the audio drama's continuity. So therefore it seems to me logical that the ones that they'd probably not have access to would be Russell T Davies era ones, because I think that's what the creative behind this drama are basically using as a lot of their pulling points. Obviously there are references to the Clash of Her and Joe Grant and stuff, but the thing is, with classic Who companions, it's a lot easier to sort of write around the canon appearances. I mean, look at the Centenary special. We have a scene where Ace says she hasn't seen the Doctor in 30 years.
Ace, I haven't heard from the Doctor for nearly 4 decades.
Just because it's only 3 decades for me.
Despite things like At Childhood's End saying otherwise, along with various audio dramas for Tegan as well. Whereas with new Who companions, Russell might not want a relatively recent, officially licensed BBC project having characters that he wishes to use as to not disturb the continuity, especially as we know Jodie Whittaker does make exceedingly brief cameos in Doctor Who Redacted, so therefore if 13 meets, say, Martha or Donna in one of these audios, it would kind of have to take the impact out of seeing them again in something like a 60th anniversary. Obviously, there is a lot of speculation and discussion on my part, but I do think this is a sign that there are more returning characters for the Russell era than we're aware of. I think the Tennant and Tate stuff, as I've said before, is fairly likely, but who else could be joining the fray for the celebrations? Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
Hello, I'm recording this the day after. Could you tell? Basically, I'm just adding this bit in at the end just to say that I know that some people are going to bring up the fact that Radio Free Skaro, one of the big Doctor Who podcasts, is expecting to have to make an emergency podcast episode this week as a result of an upcoming announcement for Doctor Who. Now, we've heard murmurings about Tennant, and we've heard murmurings about 60th filming starting around now, so this would make a lot of sense, but I'm not going to get my hopes up on it, as it is just a small thing. Of course, I hope that there's something to it, but at the end of the day, we've had so many speculated times for announcements at this point that I kind of just don't trust any of them. But yeah, I'm just adding that onto the end, just so you know that I have covered it, I have spoken about it. Let me know in the comments below what you think, not only about what most of this video is about returning characters for RTD2, but also the possibility of an announcement this week. Do you think it'll happen? Do you think it won't? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below, like this video if you enjoyed, and I will see you later. Shout out to Debs Iona, Shane Smith, Ree Keffin, Seb Lowndes, Jay Monroe, Hash Shandycoot, Patrick Newson, Simon Ashley, Steve Safaro, Andrew Townsend, Alex Robbins, Michael Dykes, Paul Bryden, Sam Yates, Michael Rhodes, Jerry the Meerkat, Heretic, Bibliotecaria Nerd, Cameron Jefferson, John M, Meta Hoovian, Ben Freeman. If you want to become a member, feel free to do so. It really helps out. You get exclusive posts, shout outs in every video, and even your own badge and custom emojis to use.